Good day to everyone. This is meteorologist Mark Molnar. I want to thank you for joining me for this edition of Weather Eastern. We're going to push the tropics out of the way. Really don't have much going on. It's pretty much over for the season, thankfully. So we're going to go right into wintry weather. And there's going to be a cold push all the way down south. But the big story is going to be next Tuesday. A lot of you have heard about the potential for a East Coast snowstorm or even an interior snowstorm. There's a lot of models going back and forth. We'll see which ones have been most consistent, where the heaviest snow potential lies. It's really hard to get into 7 days out like this, but we'll see which models are showing the biggest chance here. We'll go over all that for you in your forecast. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go right ahead and do it. Hit the bell button so when I come up with one of these videos, you're alerted. There are timestamps in the description down below. If you wish to skip ahead, I won't be offended. And let's get right into it. And let's take a look at the winter storm update confidence scale. I'm introducing you here to the confidence scale. Anywhere from a 1, which is a slight, to 5 extreme, 3 in the middle, moderate. And you can see in the green zone, that's our biggest zone, Pennsylvania, New York, Northern Virginia, Maryland, New Jersey, much of New England, eastern Quebec, and southeastern Ontario, Canada, and even over towards Nova Scotia. This is where I think impacts will be a slight risk. The 6 to 7 days out, this is pretty significant, even though it's on the slight risk. I want everybody in these zones to watch over the next several days because model runs have been back and forth between a major bomb of a storm to a more progressive open wave type storm where we only get a couple inches. So the pattern is very conducive for a storm. It's just, where does this storm set up? Where does it form? How intense does it get and how much phasing occurs? You can see these model plots are much different than they were 24 hours ago. Like the Euro had a major bomb over the Hudson Valley. That is more progressive open wave type system. In the yellow zone, the 2, parts of Maine, eastern Quebec, eastern Canada. These areas I want you to watch very closely as well because you have a higher chance based on all of these model runs I've seen over the last 24 to 36 hours. So we'll watch this, and let's take a look at some of the model data here. We'll break it all down for you. All right, taking a look briefly at the snowfall map here across the Northeast. Let's take this back to later Thursday. We get into lake effect behind the cold front. We got some snow up here in southern Ontario and Quebec. And this system here into northern, it's the northern end of that system on Thursday. Well, I think this is a little bit overdone. We'll probably see 2, maybe 3, 4 inches at tops. 2 to 4 inches here with the lake effect later Thursday night to Friday. Places like eastern Oswego County, Lewis, Jefferson County, Herkimer County, and then over towards Cattaraugus, Allegheny County, Warren County, McKean County, and Crawford County here in northwestern Pennsylvania. We put this into motion into early next week. What are we showing with that Tuesday system? Well, the GFS isn't very bullish here into upstate New York into Pennsylvania. We're looking at maybe a couple inches thrown on top here, but it's up here. Look at that. 41-inch total right over the border of Maine here in Canada. I think that's a little bit overdone, but we'll see. Probably some convective feedback issues as the GFS is notorious for that. Here in eastern Maine, anywhere from 8 to 12 inches on top. Well, the snow that fell this week, so that's interesting. Let's go over to the CMC here. We put this into motion. It is interesting to note the Canadian is a little more bullish here in northwestern Pennsylvania with this lake effect snowfall, 4, 5, maybe 6 inches. Places like eastern Erie County into northern Warren County, Pennsylvania here. And then look at this on the northern system, kind of like the GFS. A couple more inches thrown on top here in the Catskills, the Adirondacks, and even some down here in the Poconos, just southeast of Wilkes-Barre and Scranton here. Mount Pocono region, areas just south of Interstate 80 here into the Poconos and southern Catskills. We could be seeing a couple inches here according to the CMC. And we put this into motion. Look, wow. CMC is a little bit more bullish with the snowfall, throwing on at least another 2, 3, 4 inches on top of this. And then here into northern New England, look at this into Maine, 6, 7, 8, 9 inches thrown on top. And it's interesting to note that just like the GFS, look at that, the big bullseye in it way up here in the 20, 30 some inch range here in the exact same location as the GFS. All right, let's take a look at the model data here. We're starting off with your Thursday system. It's pushing across the Ohio Valley and parts of the south. kind of washing out here. And we get lake effect streamers behind it. You see the rain changing to snow. Let's push into the weekend here. Very strong high pressure building in here across the east. And then we get to Sunday, high pressure retreating. Very strong high. That high across the southeast over the weekend will be a cooler high from Friday into Saturday. 50s down here into the deep south. But then we get into your Sunday. Here's that piece of energy, that first piece of energy. Mostly rain, so it'll kind of have a lot of you fooled here. And then Monday, that pushes through. Rain changing to snow, lake enhancement on the back end. Let's see what the GFS does with this low, because you start to see some lower pressure falls here. Closing off a low pretty far to the south here, so keeping most of the heaviest precipitation offshore. This is quite a big different than it was 24 or 36 hours ago when the models were much closer to the coastline here, kind of keeping this much deeper trough. So we'll have to see if this trend continues. A lot of flip-flopping will occur over the next couple days. Snow on the western edge here, so eastern Maine. And look at the lake effect. If this does verify, we could have a Georgian Bay connection here, so you could have some pretty good intense lake effect snow bands here on the back side of this system if this verifies. And look how interesting. This almost kind of like moves up to the west here. And eastern Maine and eastern Canada. Look at that, some pretty intense snowfall here with a 980 millibar low. That's probably most likely blizzard conditions according to this model run. And that really moves very slowly, 978 millibars. So really continuing intense snowfall. Eastern Maine, northern Maine could have quite a snowstorm if this system verifies. And look at these lake effect snow bands continuing on the back edge here. So this is something we have to watch out for here. So regardless of what happens, we're definitely going to have a major trough here, and that's not going anywhere anytime soon. Look at that's Wednesday, and we have this next system coming in with some energy, almost like a clipper type system, and that low is stuck. This is the classic blocking pattern, and then we have this blocking high building in behind it here. So if we put that into motion, it's not going anywhere. So let's take a look at the CMC model. Let's back this up. Here's the Thursday system pushing through. Lake effect kicking in behind it there. There's that system moving out with some snow on the northern edge of New England. High pressure, really cold high building in here across the south. Very similar to the GFS. That retreats to the east. And look at this. Sunday, there's that first piece of energy showing up. A little bit colder on the CMC than the GFS. Keeping a lot of this snowfall here in parts of New York and Pennsylvania. And here's some pressure falls starting offshore. Let's see what happens with this. It kind of forms it a little bit further to the east than the GFS does, and does push it further east, keeping some intense lake effect, maybe that Georgian Bay connection there as well, and low pressure moving up. Not as big of a snowstorm on the CMC as the GFS, and we do still get some heavy snow though once it moves up on Wednesday here into parts of the northeast, and that kind of retrogrades back to the west here and to the south, and then the next system moving in from the west. And let's take a look at the Euro quickly here. Here's that first piece of energy on Sunday, and earlier Monday across the lakes. Let's see if it does that big bomb like it was in the last Euro model run here. No, it really doesn't. This is why it's really hard to follow one model run when we have these blips, this back and forth. Euro keeps a really weak progressive low here across the northeast, so we will see some snowfall according to the Euro, but nothing major. Let's see, Tuesday, it kicks it up here into Nova Scotia, well to the east of the Euro and the GFS. Now, just 12 hours ago, this was riding it up the Hudson Valley here, so this is why you can't get into one model run. We do know there will be a big trough here in the northeast early next week. But how strong does it make this low pressure system, and how far to the west does it curve into the coastline, if it even does that? So there's a lot of uncertainty going on here. All right, let me show you next week's trough. We'll start off with this week here. Let's progress through this week. So we get towards Thursday, we get that ridge briefly on the east side of that storm that will be moving through, as expected, but there's that trough kicking in across central North America. We have some ridginess here out here into the Gulf of Alaska and out west as well. That starts to intensify the trough into Friday behind that system. Let's see if that sticks around. It really doesn't. By Sunday, according to the GFS, we're having ridging across much of the lower 48 here. But there's that big block though. Well, let's see what happens here. There we go. This is what I wanted to see. We start to have the response, this big ridge developing out west in this massive trough. Look at these lower height anomalies here across the eastern part of the United States and eastern Canada. That is what could be the trigger. Look at that. This could be a trigger of some sort of East Coast storm. We don't know exactly how intense or where this will form. The models are too, this far out, it's too hard to get an exact pinpoint. You cannot predict exactly where this is going to form, but there will be some sort of low pressure system. The models have been back and forth on this. And look at that. That really sticks around. Look at that. That's negatively tilted at this point here across the Northeast. Wednesday. And it pretty much becomes cut off. And there is that massive blocking. I mean, that is a classic block up there. This is not going anywhere. This system is stuck here once it's Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. And then we get another reinforcing trough behind this. So we're getting into a massively stormy pattern here. This is actually pretty exciting if you think about it. Let's get over to the CMC model here. Let's go throughout this week. There's the ridge across the east, trough kicking in on the weekend. It's a temporary trough. Let's see it. Yep, it's pretty much agreeing with the GFS. And there is the sign. There's that big ridge out west, and there's that trough really starting to kick in here across the lakes. And it becomes very, very well entrenched, just like on the GFS. Becomes negatively tilted. Blocking really intensifies up here in Greenland and northeastern North America, and it doesn't have anywhere to go. Weird thing is, though, the CMC is encountering some ridging developing here across the Ohio Valley and Mississippi River Valley. I'll have to see if that verifies, because if it does, then that could put a damper on the snowfall, because now there's a trough developing out here in the central part of the U.S., which would, in response, push a ridge. So this is conflicting with the GFS. Let's see if the Euro. Let's take a look here. We put this into motion this week. Ridge across the east. There's that trough kicking in here Thursday behind that system. It's let's see if that's it's temporary according to the Euro. And then we kick it in here across Monday and next week. There's that big trough. Big troughiness here across the east. On Tuesday, let's kick that into Wednesday. Big blocking. Euro is much more troughiness here across much of the country, much of North America. And that system really just can't go anywhere. And there's that reinforcing trough behind it. Oh, but it kind of moderates slightly. But there it is. Look at that. Big blocking ridge there. Taking a look at the snowfall map for the Northeast, this takes us from later Thursday, the November 18th, to Sunday, November 21st. This does not include next week's potential system that could promote more snow across the area. This takes us from the system later Thursday as some of the rain changes to snow, and then we get the downwind of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario in New York and Pennsylvania, the snow belt areas southeast of Buffalo and Erie, Cattaraugus, Chautauqua, Allegheny counties, anywhere from 2 to 3 inches, locally higher amounts possible, Warren County, Crawford County, Pennsylvania, and then over towards the Tug Hill Plateau, Lewis, Jefferson, and northern Oneida counties, maybe as far west as eastern Oswego counties, 2 to 3 inches potentially here. And then the northern White Mountains, Berkshires here in western New England, northern New England, and into Maine. This will be on the north side of the system on earlier Thursday into Thursday afternoon, and potentially stretching into Thursday evening. You'll be on the colder side initially, so you'll get some snowfall that will be pushing through, and then another shot of potential snow later in the weekend. Nothing really significant, though, anywhere from 2 to 3 inches out of this here across the Northeast. And we're going to take a look at some viewers sending photos and videos. John taking a look at Middlesex County, Massachusetts, November 1st of this year. Look at that. Some beautiful leaves. Look at that beautiful blue sky, too, bringing out the nice color of those leaves. And look at that. Just a beautiful landscape during the day. And look at that last photo. Some really nice open water photos as well, with some nice color off in the distance there. Thank you, John, for sending those photos in. And the upper air pattern across North America, take a look at the polar jet stream diving down across the western Great Lakes over the next couple days. And then, of course, the subtropical jet really pushed down into the Gulf Coast states. We will be seeing some cold air moving into the south as well. Low pressures riding up here all along the east coast. So we'll have the potential next week. We could see some sort of a coastal spin up. But for this week, we're still looking at a mild push Thursday and then the cold push into the weekend. And here it is for your Wednesday, the midpoint of the week. Look at that. We're cruising towards a warm front in western Pennsylvania, parts of Maryland and Virginia. Look at that. 67 in Pittsburgh and D.C. That's the warm spot. 64 in Atlantic City. We start to push the warm air even further north. 54 in Binghamton, 61 in Buffalo. Look at that. 40s into New England. You see some blue on the map up there. That's some light snow showers breaking out earlier in the day and then pushing to the northeast. Temperatures will be rebounding throughout the day. Look at that, though. You get into the mid-40s by the latter part of the day, 52 in Boston. So sun will be breaking out across the northeast, maybe a late-day shower across western New York, western Pennsylvania, and up towards the St. Lawrence River Valley. Northern Vermont, New Hampshire, you could get some snow mixing in before things warm up. But for the most part, looking almost spring-like here. And Wednesday for your southeast, we have some strong thunderstorm threat across eastern Texas, northern Louisiana, eastern Arkansas, and getting into extreme northwestern Mississippi, western Tennessee, up into the mid-Mississippi River Valley. So damaging wind, large hail, isolated tornado threat possible, but it'll be mainly damaging wind, large hail, especially north of Houston here, northwest of New Orleans. And staying a nice day for the most part, New Orleans, Panama City, Houston, Tampa, Birmingham, Atlanta, Charleston, and Raleigh. So get out there and enjoy it. But as I said, in that yellow zone, you're going to want to watch out for some strong thunderstorms. Even in South Florida, we may have a stray shower or thunderstorm. 84 in Miami. And for your Thursday across the northeast, here is the cold front. We push some spring-like temperatures up here into the northeast. Look at this, 64 in Binghamton, 65 in Scranton, 68 in Harrisburg, 72 in D.C., 69 in Atlantic City here. So we're bringing the warm air as far north as Concord and Boston into the mid-60s in Portland, Maine as well. But look at that. Your early highs in New York and Pennsylvania will be in the 60s, even upper 50s. But Buffalo, Erie will be crashing these temperatures, and maybe some wet snowflakes mixing into the Alleghenies and the Adirondacks as the day progresses. And this front moves to the east, getting up towards a quarter inch. Most of these areas, maybe up to a half an inch in some of the heavier downpours. And Thursday across the southeast, cold front pushing sharply to the southeast here. 73 in Houston and New Orleans. 55 double nickels here in Nashville. So we will be pushing this colder air to the east. 69 in Atlanta. The good thing is these will not be severe thunderstorms by this point. This will be a weakening front, but it will be bringing the cold air in for the most part. So we'll have about a tenth to a quarter inch of rain, especially in the darker green zones here. Raleigh getting one more nice day in here before the showers roll in later in the day. 76 and 76 in Charleston as well. And here we go, Friday across the northeast. It's a slap in the face reality. Lake effect kicking in. 43, 41 in Buffalo, 43 in Erie. Look at that. 40 in Syracuse and Binghamton, 41. So we'll have those lake effect streamers kicking in. They should be scattered snow showers during the morning hours, maybe a half an inch or less of snow. But the day wears on, we'll moderate the temperatures. We'll get some rain mixing in with the wet snow. But for the most part, we'll be breaking out the sunny skies and northwest winds of 15 to 20 miles per hour. So it'll make it feel a little bit cooler than that. 48 in New York City, 49 in Atlantic City, and Boston. And for your Friday across the southeast, the front has not cleared South Florida. It will finally eventually clear South Florida by the weekend. But look at that. Scattered showers and thunderstorms from Tampa on southward to Miami. About a 50% chance, maybe a quarter to half an inch of showers and thunderstorms. But look at the big story across the southeast is look at these temperatures. 50 in Nashville, 58 in Atlanta and Birmingham, 56, 53 in Raleigh, even down into the low 60s in Charleston and New Orleans, and upper 60s in Panama City. So we're really scouring out the humidity here. This is going to feel quite interesting here across the south, but the good news is the sun will be shining. So get out there, enjoy your TGIF. And your Saturday across the Northeast, the best day of the week. Look at that. Sunny skies across the Northeast. Wall-to-wall sunshine from Pittsburgh, 48 to Bangor, 41. So we're mostly averaging in the low to mid 40s here, even some upper 40s. 49 in New York City, 51 in Atlantic City, 52 in D.C. That is the warm spot. 46 in Binghamton and State College. So anywhere you go, you won't find any clouds. That is the good news. Brilliant blue skies and the big old ball of light in the sky. And Saturday across the southeast, high pressure is mostly in control here, sliding east of the Appalachians, and we have some moderating temperatures. So we'll finally get back into the 71 in Panama City here, almost 70 here in New Orleans, 76 in Houston. We'll have a warm front pushing across eastern Texas. Could break out a shower or thunderstorm towards Linden, Texas, northwestern Louisiana, and northeast of Dallas. South Florida could see a stray shower or thunderstorm as well. 82 in Miami, 78 in Tampa, 60 in Charleston. So we make it to 60 in these areas as well. So get out there and enjoy your Saturday. All right, extended outlook for my hometown viewers. Binghamton to Scranton, Upper Susquehanna, region of upstate New York and northeast Pennsylvania, and all points in between. Take a look at Wednesday through Sunday here. Wednesday, we're starting off well above average, 55, after a cold start at 26. Frosty start, freezing start. Clouds will be rolling in throughout the day, however, so this will give way to the cold front on Thursday. We will get a morning high of 64, and this will crash throughout the day as the cold front moves in from the west. So winds will start to out of the south, and then we'll switch to the west and eventually the northwest towards evening, up to a quarter-inch Friday, partly sunny. And look at that, down to 41, low of 30. And Saturday, brilliantly sunny skies, 46, low of 25, so a cold start. And Sunday, we have that chance of some showers. Will this give way eventually to a more stormier, wintry Thanksgiving? We'll see if that holds true, but this could be the warmest day next week, Sunday, 46. As always, I want to thank you for joining me for this edition of Weather Eastern. Don't forget to give my Facebook, Twitter, and website some love. Facebook, Media Mark, also Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern, although we are thankfully getting out of hurricane season. Also, it's MediaMark.com, WeatherNortheastern.com, and Twitter at Weather Eastern. Thank you for joining me.